Dragon Ball is back on a whole new adventure, and let me say, this first episode is packed full of lore and world building, okay? And we're excited to break down each and every episode every week. And if you guys want to see this kind of content, then hit the subscribe button and like this video, because it lets us know that we're doing a good job and you want to watch it, okay? My name is Mars, and this is Capsule Corp Security Episode 1, Breakdown of Dragon Ball Daima. All right, let's get into it. This episode opens up with the narrator explaining the history of the Dragon Balls and Goku and his life with all his friends and family. Then after that brings up the title card for this episode, which is called Conspiracy. The opening shots look really good with the red and orange coloring outside of the demon castle. We are now in the demon realm, and we see two beings floating and watching the events from Dragon Ball Z during the Buu saga, right? The one on the left is named Goma, and he sees Bibidi and gets angry because he sees that Bibidi is using the King of Demons, King Deborah, to help him with his tasks that he's doing in the outside world. Now they show Goku talking about Deborah, asking if he's strong to Supreme Kai, and Supreme Kai lets him know that he is the King of Demons in the demon realm. And I just want to know, during this time, this is the first time we heard of the demon world in Dragon Ball Z when Supreme Kai mentions it. We then find out the Supreme Kai has a little brother named Dagesu who is not happy with him helping the mortals, okay? It seems like there is some tension between them going on. We don't know what's going on between them, but I'm pretty sure we'll find out later on as the season goes on. Goma fast forwards the timeline to the part where Vegeta becomes Majin Vegeta and starts to fight Goku. The reanimation of this scene was fantastic and amazing, and I loved every single moment of it. I need them to reanimate Dragon Ball again from the beginning with all new animations. That's neither here or there. Let's get back into the breakdown. Goma and Dagesu are shocked to see the powers that these beings are using in the outside world. Then Dagesu asks if they can be Majin. What is Majin? We currently do not know at this point, but I'm thinking it could be another race or another type of beings inside the demon world. We'll probably find out later on in the season, but we're just going to put a note in that for right now and keep that on our minds. Then Goma says they can't be Majin because their ears are round. So at this point, all we know about Majin is they have different ears, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a little bit more information of that later on in this episode. And another thing to note is that they see Goku and Vegeta using Ki Blast and flying around, so Dagesu says that they're using some type of magic. Now, an interesting point here is Goma sees Buu escape his pod and says, now Buu is back, which means they know about Buu or has some interaction with Buu in the past. Dagesu says Babidi wants to not only rule the outside world, but the demon world and all other worlds too. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot of different types of worlds. Goma and Dagesu watch Buu eat Deborah, the King of Demons, right before their eyes, and they are shocked and they don't know what to happen and what's going on. How can the King of Demons be beaten so easily? But right before, Dagesu quickly tells Goma that he is now the king of the demon realm with a real sinister look on his face. He's up to something, but we don't know what's going on yet. We got to keep our eye on Dagesu. Now they see Piccolo for the first time, and they are shocked to see a Namekian, or a Namek as they call it. I'm not sure if that's a translation thing or if that's just what they call them and that's their real name. It's just Namek. All right, we'll figure it out later at another date, okay? We get to see Vegeta use Final Explosion again in an attempt to beat Buu, which looks awesome, reanimated, but we all know how this turns out. Now, we fast forward a little bit. Goma sees Shinra in the Dragon Balls and says, I found it. This is the reason. Goma mentions that the Dragon Balls are smaller, but they are still Dragon Balls. And later in the episode, we find out that the Demon Realm has their own Dragon Balls themselves, which are way bigger than the Dragon Balls on Earth. Dagesu says he's read about Purunga, and this one looks different from what he's read about. And we all know that this is Shinron, which is the Earth version of the dragon. So yes, he does look different than the actual Namekian Shinron, aka Purunga. Goma and Dagesu are super surprised that Shinron grants 3 wishes, so it's safe to assume that the dragon in the demon realm only grants maybe 1 or 2 wishes because of how shocked they are. Now Goma fast forwards a little bit to see Buu killing Babidi and gets really excited that Buu beats Babidi. And the reason why he gets excited is because now nothing can really stand in his way, because Majin Buu is on the loose, and that's the only threat that stands in the way in whatever plans that he has planned for the future now. Now they see Dende and they get shocked again because they see another Namekian in the outside world. And Dagesu says, no wonder we couldn't find any despite searching. They escaped to the outside world. Now this is real big news that I wanted to point out here, because we just found out that all Namekians come from the demon realm, which makes sense, right? Because back in the day, we got the demon King Piccolo. Was King Piccolo once the demon realm king? Or am I reaching? Let me know down in the comments below, but let's continue on with this. I do not think this has any correlation to actually King Piccolo becoming Demon King or whatever the case may be. But at this point, unless they find a way to connect it later on, I'm going to say he wasn't really a Demon King. I just think that this was a title given to him because he was made up of pure evil from Kami. And we can get into a little bit more detail about that later on in another video. Now, after watching Goku just beat King Buu, Goma and Dagesu can't believe what they just witnessed. But Dagesu quickly snaps out of this state of shock to tell Goma, everyone who would have stood in your way is now gone. With another sinister look in his face, I'm telling you, this guy Dagesu looks like he has his own motives and he's cooking something up. Now enters the sister of the Supreme Kai and Dagesu, Dr. Eren-Su. Okay, I don't know if I said that right, but we're going with it. She apparently is doing some type of research that has not been disclosed yet. Okay, she was also watching the events that took place during the Buu saga when she made her appearance. And the reason why Eren-Su was watching the moments that took place is because she knows that Deborah never goes to the outside world, so her interest was piqued and she wanted to see what was going on and why he went out there. Deborah was funding Dr. Eren-Su's research, and now that he is dead, Dr. Eren-Su came to let Goma know that he was going to continue her research like a boss lady, okay? By scaring him with saying that the Z Warriors were to invade, he would be in trouble and could not stop them without her research. So that is something that's going to play. So maybe Dr. Eren-Su is trying to get the funding to keep the funding to keep up her research, because we find out later on that Dr. Eren-Su does go to Universe 7 where the Z Warriors are, and we don't know why. Goma got the great idea to use the Dragon Balls, but we quickly find out that the Demon Realm Dragon Balls are protected by 3 powerful Tamagamis. So instead of using the Dragon Balls in the Demon World, they want to go to Earth and use their Dragon Balls instead. We find out a very piece of important information right here, okay? We find out that the Dragon Balls on Earth are based on white magic. So using black magic wishes like killing people and things like that wouldn't work on these Dragon Balls, but that's something we did know about it in previous Dragon Ball GT history and just previous times when we did use the Dragon Balls. So I just wanted to point out that they're saying that it's based on white magic and black magic wishes wouldn't work. Okay, I just wanted to leave that note there. Moving on. And the reason why I wanted to note that, just in case you were wondering, because this could be a hint at Omega Shenron becoming canon later on, because why would they mention black wishes? Okay, I'm telling you, Omega Shenron's coming. He could become canon. Okay, come on, I'm here for it. So now with that knowledge about using white and black wishes, Goma comes forward with the idea to make the Z Warriors young so that they cannot be a threat and as strong as they are now. Since there are 3 wishes on Earth, the second wish they are going to make is something called an evil third eye, aka the legendary Tartian Oculus. Not sure what that is. All we know is that it grants unbelievable power and also has been lost since the time of Deborah's father. And now as for the third wish, Dagesu asks if he can take the third wish, but they never said what the wish was going to be, and I'm sure we'll find out later on in the season that he wants to use it for his own no goods, okay? Maybe, or something. I don't know. Now, as Goma's getting ready to leave, he mentions making speeches in 3 demon worlds to appeal to the Majin. Now, Majin was mentioned earlier. maybe the Majin are actually some type of superior beings in the demon realm that have rule over every and anything in the demon realm. So maybe that's why they seem like they asked if they were Majin, Goku and Vegeta earlier, because of how powerful they are. That's just a note. We don't know for sure, but we do that. And then Goma also asks to bring the Namekian Neva, who seems to know a lot about Dragon Balls, and we'll speak on him later on in this episode. We do find out that Neva is the one who created the Dragon Balls in the demon realm, and he also created the Tamagamis who protect them. I wonder why he made the Dragon Balls and then made these creatures to protect them to not be able to be used. Interesting. Okay, moving on. Now, as the guest who's walking out, we see that somebody has been listening the whole time. This character comes later in the show. Actually, he's coming in episode 2. His name is called Glorio, and I wonder what kind of role he is going to be actually playing in this show. As Goma and the guest who are waiting for the elderly Namekian Neva to walk over, we see the 1-star Dragon Ball, which is huge. It looks like there are only 3 Dragon Balls in the demon realm, and we also see one of the Tamagamis who are protecting it. And when Neva walks up, he says, "You're doing a good job." Crazy. I don't know what that means, but we're going to figure it out later on. Now, when Neva finds out that they're going to the outside world, he says we aren't supposed to go to the outside world. And when he finds out we have permission, he asks if it was a vacation that they were going on. Neva seems really excited that they're going to meet another Namekian, and also excited that to still know that some exists, because he has been around for thousands of years and hasn't seen another Namekian in thousands of years. I just wanted to note that, okay? Now, in order for them to leave the demon realm, they have to talk to this giant fish looking thing, and they give it a password, and it lets them fly into their mouth to be able to teleport to Earth. Now, as the demon group is finally traveling to Earth, we finally make our way over to the Goku and team to find out that they're celebrating Trunks' 9th birthday. All right, we get a shot of everybody who's at attendance of the party. All the families are separated by the tables. We have Krillin and 18 and their daughter. We have the OG Ox King and Master Roshi sitting there as well. We got the Supreme Kai and Kaibato, and then we have the friends table with Yamcha, Piccolo, Oolong, Pure, and then we have Boo with Hercule. And then the last 2 tables, we have the Brief family, which is Bulma, Vegeta, and Trunks, and then we have the Sun family, which is Chi-Chi, Goten, and Goku. We get another piece of information about the Saiyans and their growth spurts. They apparently do not grow until they're the age 15, which makes sense because when Goku was a teenager, turned 15, his growth spurt was huge, and the same for Gohan. When he turned 15 and went to high school, his growth spurt was good. And then Goku takes a shot at Vegeta and says Vegeta is short, and I guess he never hit his growth spurt, and I thought that was hilarious. When Goku sees Supreme Kai and Kaibato have separated from their fusion because of the gas from Boo, it's a little weird, but it did make some sense because it did happen to Goku and Vegeta when they went inside Boo as fusions and they came out separated. So Supreme Kai noticed Gohan isn't here, and we find the reason is because he's too busy studying, of course, like always. After Goku's done eating, he asks Vegeta if he wants to train, and they begin to fly away into the sky and start fighting. Bulma does not seem happy about them training and tells everyone just to ignore them. While Goku and Vegeta are fighting, we go to Kami's lookout and we see Dende and Mr. Popo watching everyone having a good time. Mr. Popo asks if they should go down there and enjoy them, and then Dende says no, because anything can happen at any time, and right then and there, the demon group pulls up asking for the Dragon Balls. Like we mentioned earlier, Neva says he hasn't seen another Namekian in 1,000 years. I didn't even know Namekians could live that long, but I guess they can because old Guru was old as hell on a Namekian planet. Now, this next line is why I have my theory about Demon King Piccolo, because the guest who tells Dende his ancestors are from the demon realm because of his ears, and they are pointy, which means all demons have pointy ears. Majin have pointy ears apparently, or just different types of ears. We don't know what kind of ears Majin have yet, but we do know demons have pointy ears. Goma tells Neva to get the Dragon Balls and he will extend Neva's life for 1,000 years. I think it's okay to note this kind of power the demons have. Neva finds all the Dragon Balls with his powers and brings them to the lookout. But since the Z Warriors just used them to return the Earth back to normal, the Dragon Balls are stone. we find out that Neva could speed up the process of the Dragon Balls and return them to their normal state and be used once again. Now we have Dende trying to stick up for himself and protect the Dragon Balls. Dende says he will die before giving them the password to use for the Dragon Balls, but they already have the passwords because they seen it when they were watching the events during the Buu saga. Alright, they summon Shenron and make the first wish, which is to turn all the Z Fighters and their friends into kids, okay? And how old he asked? He said he wanted to make them first graders. So that gives us an idea of how old they actually are, which is 6 and 7 years old. At least in the US, that's how old you are when you go into first grade. And then we cut back to Trunks' party and we hear everybody screaming and we see Goku and Vegeta turn into kids, and that's how the episode goes off. And the next episode is called Glorio, and we just see Glorio, the guy who was standing there listening to the Gesu and Goma talk. I wonder what this is going to be. So that is it for this breakdown of this episode. Once again, if you guys like this kind of stuff, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to be doing breakdowns of every single episode each week, just in this format. Okay, so leave a comment on what you thought about this episode. My name is Mars and this is Caps Corp Security. I will see you in the next one. We're out of here. Peace.